For today's cup of coffee, we've got something again that I thought was going to be like, oh, this is simple. No. I struggled to find information on it. Then there was controversy between what I was trying to find. And it's interesting. All I wanted to do was talk about wizards.
It's a full-on script.
It's really not.
Yes, it is.
It's not. Because I had to go to different sources, because when I typed in something, and I actually did, there's a website that's called Difference Guru. Who knew?
Who knew?
Because what I had typed in, what is the difference between a wizard, a warlock, and a sorcerer? No one knows. No, and everything came up Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, really?
That's because in actuality, the only difference is they're witches, but they're male. That's literally the only difference. But guess what? A witch doesn't have a gender. A witch can be either male or female.
I was on a site the other day, and it was
and people want to fight over that.
Absolutely, it was a Wiccan site, and about somebody had got butthurt because that they had called him a warlock. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's insane.
I mean, they're all witches. They're literally the same. It's just just call them a witch.
I mean, it's just...
witches.
It's crazy. Anyhow, I have done the best that I can within the course of the insanity. Let's start out with from Merriam-Webster Dictionary.
God.
That's always a good place to start. And, of course, the word wizard is a noun. It's a person. And it says that on the first one, it says one skilled in magic. And then it says sorcerer. So apparently those words are interchangeable pretty much.
Yeah.
The second definition was a very clever or skillful person, such as computer wizards.
Ooh.
And then the third one was an archaic definition, which means wise man. So witch meant wise woman or wise one, so I can see how that would be general neutral. I think it's pathetic that I have to...
They're all witches.
I think it's pathetic that I have to worry about gender anything on words like that. On anything. But it also gave the term sage. Most people, if you say sage, they're going to say parsley and thyme. Right. So anyhow, on this difference guru... What they said, and they actually had a chart and everything, which is pretty cool. They said a wizard acquires magic through education and training and is good-natured. And then it says a sorcerer acquires magic through their bloodline and they have a tendency to be evil. Well, anybody that has watched The Lord of the Rings knows that that's not going to fall into that.
Right.
So... And
I'm sorry, I had a nail in my...
Wizard, according to this, again, is a term that was popularly used during the 1400s. It was derived from the Middle English word wys, which means wise. In literature, wizards are generally portrayed as persons who gain their magical powers through intense training and practice. Because of their extensive skills and experience, wizards possess unparalleled knowledge for using powers and charms. Illustrations of wizards are often accompanied by props such as wands, scrolls, and crystal balls. According to studies, the magical powers of a wizard are limited depending on his mystical wisdom and ability. Whereas a sorcerer is a practitioner of magic who has innate mystical gifts. The term sorcerer was first coined in the 1520s. It was derived from the Middle English sorcerer, which means one who casts lots. Sorcerers acquire their supernatural powers through their bloodline. Sorcerers are typically described as those who weave dark spells and summon demonic spirits. They usually require rare items such as gems or blood in order to conjure magic. Sorcerers are believed to perform magic for personal gains, so it's a matter of the selfishness there.
Yeah.
And wizard versus sorcerer. So what is the difference between wizard and sorcerer? While both of them can successfully use magic, spells, and charms, they greatly differ in purpose and ability. Wizards have no magical ancestry. They gain their abilities through constant training. On the other hand, sorcerers inherit their ability to perform magic. They came from a bloodline of mystical origin. Wizards wield great powers through their knowledge and skills, and they usually become advisors, guardians, or teachers. Also, most wizards use their magic to help others. Sorcerers require other rare materials in order to procure their powers. They are believed to be dark magicians. Known to summon demons or gods, they create spells to cause harm to others. In fictional books, wizards are old and white-haired. They usually walk with a staff or a wand, and they wear brightly colored cloaks and a tile-pointed hat. They generally act less dangerous when they are around ordinary people. Does that mean that they, what happens when they're behind closed doors?
Yeah.
Sorcerers also wear cloaks and carry a staff or a wand. However, since their powers are genetically acquired, many sorcerers are younger than wizards. They can call on bad spirits to spread evilness in the world and have a darker image than wizards. Now, within this, I don't know that they just pulled this one out of their ass more than likely because I don't remember any citations or sources on that. All of these links will be put in the description box.
Right.
So somebody else can go through there and go, oh, yes, he actually did cite this source here. But anyhow, then there was another one that's called differencebetween.com.
What?
Yeah. What? And this is as in the difference between wizard and warlock. Differencebetween.com. Who knew?
Why do you exist as far as websites? Out of all the websites that can exist, why must you in specific exist in between.com? Because you're in between websites, that's what it is. You don't know if you're a wiki or a question thing.
It's for people like me that pose the exact question, what's the difference between? So, there you go. And they say, and these didn't have any other than staff writers or whatever. I didn't see any, or I would have definitely given a byline to whomever. And they say that Harry Potter novels and movies have made words like wizard and warlock common and on the lips of people. I knew these things way before Harry Potter was a thing.
Yes, because
but I'm odd.
You have delved deep into the study of the occult.
I am odd. The mesmerizing world of magic unfolds and takes us into realms of acts and tricks that look unbelievable but true. Two important characters in the world of magic happen to be warlocks and wizards that seem to be synonymous to an outsider or someone who has no knowledge about magic. In fact, if one looks up a dictionary, which we did, he finds that a warlock has been defined as a wizard or a male witch. This is very confusing for some people. This article attempts to find out the subtle differences between a warlock and a wizard to enable readers to appreciate the differences. Okay, a wizard, according to this, people who develop expertise in performing magic are known by a generic word, not genetic word. It's where we were talking about all this other stuff.
Yeah.
The generic word magician. However, the word magician comprises a lot of titles such as wizard, sorcerer, witch, enchantress, warlock, and so on. Was that a spider?
It's an ant.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a spider. That's why I was like, oh, God.
It was on my foot.
Notice that it appears as soon as we're talking about this subject.
Well, it's out there trying to come in out of the cold. So, all right, enchantress, warlock, and so on. The magician, as they are seen appearing in books and some old tribal civilizations, can take on the role of a mentor or he can be a villain. Okay. This explains why we see some of the wizards as wise old men, while some wizards are shown as anti-hero or villains. When a wizard performs the role of a wise man, he is seen advising the tribe or the king or the queen on religious and cultural matters. They could have just put royalty.
Yeah. They really could.
I'm not the only one that's confused by trying to find verbiage in this day and time.
I'm confused on a daily.
Well, in many stories revolving around the world of magic, a wizard is seen helping the central characters in their mission. The term wizard is kept for a male practitioner of magic, as the females are known by other names such as witch, enchantress, etc. Warlock is the title that has come into prominence because of the use of the title for Dumbledore in Harry Potter movies. He has been described as a chief warlock of the Wizengamot. Was that what it was? Wizengamot?
Hold on, let me see that word.
Looks like it to me.
Wizengamot.
Yeah,
yeah, that's literally. I don't know how else you're supposed to pronounce that word, unless somewhere there's. They pulled it out. They played Scrabble.
Probably. I think a lot of these things they played Scrabble. However, for those who do not know, the word warlock, used for magicians in old books and civilizations, is an even older word than a wizard.
Really?
It has been, that's what whoever wrote this says. It has been derived from an old English word. I'm not even going to try that. It's Waerloga. Now remember, this is Old English. It's not Latin.
I have no idea where you're looking.
Anyhow, this word is a person who breaks oath. Warloga is what it looks like.
Warloga?
Mm-hmm. This etymology is responsible for a warlock to be seen or portrayed as a mysterious person capable of performing magic. In many old communities, no difference was made between a wizard and a warlock, though in general, a warlock is described as more cunning and cruel than a wizard, who is gentler and wiser. Warlocks are seen performing more complex rituals and delve into dark magic, and that is perhaps responsible for turning them into evil persons.
So, in technicality, because they are older or whatever, the more wise of the other witches or whatever, why not just call them crones, just like the...
A crone is a term that is applied to females.
Why can't it just be the same thing? It's an old witch.
Well, it's
an older witch.
Crone has become a pejorative term, that it did not once mean what it means today. But if you'll hold off on that question just a minute, we'll discuss these things. I promise. You're looking at me incredulously. Okay. Again,
I need answers now.
Well, you put your ADHD under control. Just a minute.
Excuse-moi, I am currently unmedicated and I have yet to see my therapist about the ADHD.
Self-control.
With what?
You learn to have self-control. These are things that you can learn, certain skills, for real. Do not let the ADHD control you. Learn to control it. Work with it.
I'm controlling it to an extent. I'm not bouncing off the walls right now.
Well, see? So you're learning. Again, the difference between wizard and warlock, while both warlock and wizard are practitioners of magic, a wizard is seen as a more old, wise man helping characters and guiding tribes, while a warlock is seen as a cruel magician who is an evil fellow. So this is a summation of what they had already said.
Okay.
A warlock performs more complex rituals than a wizard. A warlock is a male or female practitioner of magic who has broken some oath in a community. A wizard is always a male magician. In some communities and stories, no difference is made between a wizard and a warlock. In general, a warlock is shown as more fierce and evil than a wizard. And a warlock is considered as more skillful and able to perform complex magic. I mean, my God, this is it's dizzying me. It's dizzying me.
There's literally no difference.
And anyhow, then we do have one from Wikipedia, because I was searching for knowledge. I had questions and I thought it would be an easy answer. Oh, hell no.
When is there ever an easy answer?
No, that's not anyhow.
It's even difficult to find the easy answer because it's so simple. It's impossible to see on first glance.
Anyhow, this one came from Wiki, And as far as the definition of warlock, and it said a warlock is a male practitioner of witchcraft, which has already been disputed by 15 other websites. Mm-hmm. So
it's literally the same thing as it's just a male witch. Just say witch.
Well, and it says, again, it goes into...
He's a witch. She's a witch.
As far as where it comes from, the Old English, which was breaker of oaths or deceivers, and was given special application to the devil around 1000. It says in early modern Scots, the word came to be used as the male equivalent of a witch. It says, which can be male or female, but has historically been used predominantly for females. The term may have been associated in Scotland with male witches due to the idea that they had made pacts with the devil, and thus had betrayed the Christian faith and broken their baptismal vows or oath. From this use, the word passed into Romantic literature and ultimately into 20th century popular culture. And there was a Old Norse word that was said the caller of spirits that has also been suggested as the origin of warlock. But supposedly the Oxford English Dictionary considers this implausible.
Okay.
That's for these people that is above our pay grade, baby.
Yeah, this.
Yeah. So, anyhow, although it says most victims of the witch trials in early modern Scotland were women, some men were executed as warlocks. And it says in his day, John Napier was often perceived as a warlock or magician for his interest in divination and the occult, though his established position likely kept him from being prosecuted. So he was one of the elite.
Apparently.
Then another one. I actually do a lot of work to get these things.
You really do.
From a website called WiccaDaily, or WiccaDaily. Dahlia? I'm lost at having a WiccaDaily.
WiccaDaily.
There you go. It's the daily news for the witches.
WiccaDaily.
Oh my God! Anyhow, I told you it was dizzying me.
WiccaDaily.
And this is an article by Jen called "Witch, Wizard, or Warlock," and she writes, "Believe it or not, there are still a lot of witches who get confused with terms such as witch, wizard, and warlock. Some assign genders to them, like witch is to a female, what a warlock is to a male. When we were still starting out, we were confused too." It says, if you're new to Wicca, and I'm not promoting any kind of belief system on anything, let me explain to you what makes a witch, a wizard, a sorcerer, and a warlock. Okay, the definition of a witch is someone who practices witchcraft. This can be anyone, and this doesn't call for a natural or inborn ability. This title is for both male and female practitioners. The powerful witches are the hereditary witches, or those who come from a line of family of witches. They are born with a natural ability to perform magic. Wizard is a wise witch, male or female, who have extraordinary gifts. They're well respected and prominence due to their special skills and abilities. That was not misspeaking. That was poor grammar. That was poor grammar.
Yeah.
Wizards usually apply science and mathematics into the mix and have laboratories and are known for alchemy. They like performing experiments and mixing potions. The spells of wizards take into account the complexity of nature and the universe. And then she says that a warlock is not a male witch. Many have fallen for this false definition, which has hurt a lot of male witches who practice white magic. A warlock is an evil male witch who practices the diabolical dark arts. He is a traitor, a scoundrel, and a liar, but will form alliances with anyone if it is to his benefit or to the benefit of the dark arts. So in other words, he's a narcissist.
Apparently.
Yeah. And what a warlock...
I say narcissistic witch.
What a warlock wants is powerful for himself. He is not Wiccan, and he has no regard for Mother Nature. So he's not even accepted amongst the Wiccans.
Yeah.
That's pretty,
That's pretty severe.
Yeah, it is. And then she says that sorcerers and sorceresses, my God.
Sorceresses.
That's just...
It's a sorcerer.
That is too
Just say
cumbersome.
sorcerer.
That's crazy. Are the most powerful practitioners of magic. They are very rare and hard to find. To become one, you have to have come from a natural line of sorcerers or have a natural ability that makes you one. There is a natural power in your genes, and it manifests itself in magnificent metaphysical energy. If left unchecked, a sorcerer can go over to the dark side. And it says if you wish to become a sorcerer, training under one will make it possible. But only if you have the lineage.
Yeah.
So, what this means, nobody knows.
They're just making it up as they go.
A lot of this they truly are, because, as we had discussed earlier, a lot of the pre-Christian belief systems that these are based on, there was no written record, and a lot of that knowledge was lost.
Due to people killing each other?
Well, that too. Yeah, and it's like, oh, okay, we don't believe that way anymore, so we'll do this. And then you had people, if they took parts of their old knowledge and belief system, then they were condemned, they were, excommunicated or whatever, or driven, and then later they were burned and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Fun times. But now, as far as the term crone, and I'm not going to pull that up, all it meant was an older woman.
I thought that was supposed to be like an older witch.
No.
In specific. Like,
well,
I thought that's what
you're going to make me do this. You're going to make me do this.
No, because I seriously thought that's what it meant.
I've got to try to.
And it's like a lot of witches wanted to be a crone.
Okay, here you go. An old woman considered to be ugly, a hag. And it also means a woman who is venerated for experience, judgment, and wisdom. And then it says a feeble and withered old woman, used depreciatively and sometimes applied with increased contempt to a man. What the hell does that last one even mean?
I don't know.
So, you've got, it's another one. It means what you think it means or what you want it to mean. But if you call someone a crone outside of the different circles, like if it is outside of a Wiccan circle, that's a very hurtful, hateful thing to an older woman.
Yeah.
And that there was, and I will look into this as far as that there were terms for different stages of life. And not everybody stays young and beautiful forever, that or they die early. Yeah. That's how to do that. Mm-hmm. I think it was James Dean that had said, live fast, die young, make a better looking corpse. And he did. Certainly. Wrap that car around whatever it was.
Absolutely. Same for James Mansfield, although she wasn't the one that was driving.
Yeah, well, anyhow.
And they slid under a semi because it was, horrible wreck.
And that is one of the interesting things, since you did bring up about the crones. The wizards, that the long beard and the white hair and stuff like that was indicative of wisdom and experience. But the same is not usually applied to women.
And why?
Because our culture and society
is white hair not beautiful on women? I disagree. I think it's gorgeous.
Well, and it's what we were discussing earlier.
I think salt and pepper hair is absolutely beautiful.
That was something we were discussing earlier, that this current planetary alignment and the moon, the full moon that we had yesterday and stuff, it's revealing the ugly in a lot of people. Mm-hmm. People that you would think, I really like this. And it's reminds us that everybody is human. Everybody has imperfections. But it's okay to call somebody's hand on some of this stuff, to sit there and go, hey, this is a chink in your armor. If you feel this way about this group of people, this is not helping your cause. This makes you look smiling petty. Mm-hmm. This is where you need to grow as a person. It gives us an opportunity to look at ourselves and go, okay, this is a problem. This is incorrect thinking that's affecting these other parts of my life. This is affecting the other people that are part of my life. And for us to grow. if people learn to be self-reflective.
Yeah.
And as women, we've got lots of challenges, and it's not going to turn into one of these gender bullshit things, because that's just stupid. If everybody would work together instead of othering everybody else, you know, because men, as they grow older, they have this distinguished look, which is amazing. And especially when it's somebody that has been through things and they have those wonderful lines on their faces and stuff.
And older women don't have adorable features either.
Maybe it's that we are trained to not view ourselves as such. That there is this myth that women are supposed to perpetually be nubile nymphs, 20 years old, skipping through butterfly fields or something. That is not reality.
But that's why it's a myth.
It is, but there are so many people that they're basing their worlds and their view on others by that myth.
Personally, I would rather take advice from an 80-year-old woman, 90-year-old, 100-and-some-year-old woman than I would a 20-year-old, because a 20-year-old don't know shit.
Right. I mean, and I think part of it is our perspective, where we lived with and helped care for 90-plus-year-old great aunt. Mm-hmm. And it's just, and to see this and to accept, this is how the body changes. These are how people change. These are the challenges of that. And to be kind, especially somebody that has dementia. Oh, God, because that is a challenge.
Now that's, yeah.
For somebody.
That's a rough disease.
It is. It is. Alzheimer's is a horrible disease. And that she was unaware of what she was saying a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Her inability to hear, process, and it would cause her to say things or do things that were pretty much out of character for her. The frustration that she must have had because that her vision was not as acute, her hearing was not as acute. And so in some ways it's a living hell. Death is not always a bad thing.
No.
And it wasn't that we were wishing her any ill will, but when you see somebody decline and the inability to do and interact and whatever, and just to sit and wait on death, and it's like, no, I would rather that God just take me on. Mm-hmm. Don't put me through it. Don't put my family through it. But to sit there and make a case study of aging and to find the beauty in that. And you found things, and we tried to encourage her on the things that she could do. Mm-hmm. Not focus on the things that she could not do. And to not shame her. Because, if she had trouble doing whatever, putting on her shoes or whatever. But to encourage her, it's like, well, just sit here in this chair and see if you can get your socks on. And it's very much like dealing with a small child.
Yeah.
To sit there and go, yay, you got your socks on. So, everybody can be a wizard, even if it's a matter of helping someone older, seeing the beauty. And that's the whole thing about wizards and different things like that, and what others describe as magic. It is seeing beyond the physical. It's not hard. No. It's just learning to see with different eyes. Mm-hmm. So, and what you do with that, whether you see opportunity to do evil or to be a blessing. Yeah, you don't have to be a magical anything. Humans are magical. They just don't realize that. They've forgotten who they are.
Yeah.
And to see through the eyes of love rather than the eyes of selfishness.
Yep.
And that's one of the things, like I said, this moon that has, that I have been very acutely aware of, is people becoming increasingly superficial. And when you do that, when you base decisions, opinions, whatever, on just what is on the surface, you're going to miss it, because that surface level is one single cell deep.
Absolutely.
But you look into the spirit of somebody and into their soul, and that is vast. So, you're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
And a shout out to, he was my art maestro at Emory and Henry College, and that was George Chavatel.
He was your Dumbledore.
He always will be. Yep. That makes me tear up. He's missed on this planet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he is.
So, if you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you've had a Dumbledore in your life, anything like that that you would like to share, send us an email at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. If you've got a Kindergoth, I can't even remember what that one's name is.
I don't know, but I always thought his head looked like a watermelon.
He does look like a water. And his little shoes are skunks that have been run over. Yeah. They've got the little tread marks.
I can't remember if they're made by the same people who made Bee-Goths or not.
I don't know, but the Kindergoths were great.
I honestly do think that they are made by the same people who made the Bee-Goth dolls.
Right. And if you can't see the humor and the beauty in something like that...
These things need to be remade, and
they do.
They need to be people need to start selling this shit again, because us goths, everybody wants it.
We're out there.
Yeah, everybody wants this stuff. Even the normies some of the time want this stuff, and it's like, bring it out, please. We need more of this.
Right. And it's to see the humor and the beauty, and that is one of the things about... It's not about going out with just black whatever on.
No, it's the essence of being.
It is an essence of being. To see the beauty and where others see.
You're a goth bean.
Ugly. Hey, we could start a line of things. The goth bean.
Black beans. Goth
we
beans.
could. The black jelly beans and paint little fangs on them or something.
Yeah, I hate licorice.
I love licorice. It's wondrous.
Can we have some just black jelly beans that are multi-flavored? Like, none of them would be licorice, but like some that are watermelon, cherry, whatever the fuck else.
That defeats the purpose of the black jelly bean. It's distinctive.
I want the aesthetic of it, but not the licorice.
Anyhow, we do have, it's not jelly bean season, it's candy corn season, and we will do...
There's Halloween jelly beans out there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to look for those.
I want them.
Okay.
It's jelly bean season all year round.
Okay. Well, it is nowadays. So, you all have a beautiful, blessed day. See, this was a much easier cup to swallow than the ones that we've been through.
A cup to sip from.
Absolutely. You are very loved. Thank you for taking the time to share coffee with us today.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on the next cup. Bye.
Subscribe.